This is a follow-up to last year's presentation. And last year, you could find the presentation on our YouTube site, youtube.redbucking.org. And I highlighted some really great Israel technology. First, I looked at water technology and agriculture, and I looked at water gen, which can pull water straight from the air, even in the desert, and agricultural robots picking fruit from a tree. And then I talked about Israel's automotive technology. So we have Waze, which is used for navigation everywhere, invented in Israel. And Mobileye, which is working on self-driving cars. They're actually doing test programs in a few different cities around the world, including Berlin. You might see a car driving along without a driver. Within a couple of years, this is going to be everywhere. But the technology from Mobileye, it's everywhere today. If you buy a relatively new car, you probably see things with like adaptive cruise control, assist if you're going out of a lane, it tells you. All of that technology that involves sensors and computers is coming from Israel. Okay, I also looked at some medical technology last year. So we looked at a robot that does precision guided surgery of the spine. Can you imagine that? We looked at heart surgeons that use a hologram to visualize what they're going to do before they do the surgery. We looked at a system called ReWalk that let paraplegics walk, and we're going to see a little more about ReWalk later. And then we looked at OrCam, which helps blind and people with limited sight. It'll tell them what's text on the page. If your friend walked into the room, all kinds of things. It uses the camera and the computer to help. Amazing. And we looked at cyber technology. Israel is regularly experiencing cyber attacks. As you know, Israel has many enemies. And Unit 8200 from the Israeli army is famous for their cyber technology. And then we have something for fun. We showed how a goldfish was learning how to drive. Pretty. Okay, so once again, if you missed it last year or you want to see it again, youtube.redbucking.org, and check out lots of YouTube things that we have. Okay, today we're going to look at all new things. New things we didn't look at last year. Most of these may not have even been around last year. And so the three big topics we're going to look at this year: battery-powered aircraft, defense systems, and Israel has so much medical technology that I'm going to give you more medical technology that we didn't see last year. And we'll have it just for 1 second. Okay, battery-powered aircraft. This is something that a lot of countries around the world are working on, including in the United States. It's a major thing. Airplanes today use lots and lots of fuel, burning lots of hydrocarbons, very bad for the planet. Battery-powered aircraft is important. In my opinion, Israel is leading the world in this, but let's take a look.
If you've ever had the fantasy of soaring over bumper-to-bumper traffic in a flying vehicle, that may be possible sooner than you think. Not with a flying car, but with a battery-powered aircraft called an eVTOL, a clunky acronym for Electric Vertical Takeoff and Landing Vehicle. Dozens of companies are spending billions of dollars to make eVTOLs that will operate like air taxis, taking off and landing from what are called vertiports on the tops of buildings, parking garages, or helipads in congested cities. eVTOLs promise a faster, safer, and greener mode of transportation, potentially changing the way we work and live. Sound too good to be true? We went for a joyride to find out.
The story will continue in a moment.
Okay, so if you actually watch the 60-minute piece, they look at a few of the American companies in this business. I'm going to show you what the Israelis are doing. And the first one is a company called Hager, and they make something that looks to me like Jensen's car.
Air is a US-oriented company. We certify in the US, our customers are in the US. We have a subsidiary in the US, and we have an office in Fort Worth. We will shift weight on the engineering side, integration, and certainly flight testing to the US. If you look at transportation in general, it always starts with a personal angle. The car, the aircraft, everything started personal. So a person, point A to point B, and then going mass for the masses. Our patent enables a very, very simple product that is also affordable. And if you combine those two together, you get something which is private car for category. Now, the cockpit itself is very much, we call it car-like, let's say. You're not cooped up in a very, very small cocoon.
Either.
We have a very special proprietary and patented flight control system, which is called fly-by-intent. You feel like you fly the aircraft as if it's a real airplane, but practically the computer is flying the aircraft, translating your desires to maneuvers. We have a cruising speed of about 90 knots and a maximal speed of 130 knots. If you do nothing, the aircraft will go to the optimal speed because of range. Range is it's a critical element for us. So the wing is designed for this. The training on this aircraft is much different than any other aircraft that you know. And we are developing some training programs with leading training partners on a global scale, Canada, US, and other places. We are partnering with those schools because we want to have the optionality for non-pilots and pilots to come to a situation where they can fly their vehicle the minute they have it in 2024. Practically speaking, this aircraft is built around no emergencies or very little emergencies. We have 4 motor arms. Each motor arm has basically 2 motors, one on the top, one on the bottom. They are counter-rotating. There is a slight inefficiency here, but there is a very high level of redundancy. So the tail is only for stabilization. We don't have a rudder. We have many complaints from pilots about that. You cannot glide much. God forbid you have a very big problem, you open the parachute. Again, we're designing this around the customer. We have to compensate on the fact that you want to land in your home. You want to fold it and put it in your garage. So we are constantly managing compromises. Most of the purchase orders on the market are actually not purchase orders. These are letters of intent, no money behind. What we have is close to 200 customers by now that put their money where their mouth is and showed a real, true desire to purchase the unit. And to be able to communicate with those people is a very important feedback. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so what makes this different than what other countries are doing is all the other ones, the one you'll see on 60 Minutes if you watch the whole piece, they're very expensive, $1 million planes that are meant for you to rent, a ride like you're taking a taxi. This one is meant for you to buy. He says it's affordable. It's out of my price range, but about $150,000. It really is for people who are wealthier than me. It is affordable. And then you park it in your garage, the wings fold, like you said, and you've got a Jetsons plane you can use whenever you want. My opinion, I think this is about 3 years away from being commercially available. So, you know, and obviously they have been doing test runs on how to get question.
Is there any video of it actually flying yet, or?
Yes, you can find on the internet. There was a question whether there's video that actually flying, you can find on the internet. But I didn't include that one. But I do have the next battery powered aircraft that I want to show you. And this one is from a company called Aviation. The name of the aircraft is Hager.
In other news, the world's first all-electric passenger aircraft could be taking flight in just a few weeks. The plane uses similar battery technology as a cell phone and can fly 9 passengers, but only for an hour. I don't know about this. Have you ever tried to find an outlet at the airport? That is tough. I don't trust this. The plane's called Alice. That's what it's called, as in, no, thanks, Alice. I'm going to drive. The plane gets 1 hour of flight time per charge, although it can go longer if you use one of those portable chargers like this.
Okay, so anyone have any other questions on battery powered aircraft? I think this one is also maybe 3 or 4 years away, but it is flying now.
How the FAA is going to deal with this thing?
Yeah, so the question was, how does the FAA going to be dealing with it? And the answer is, the FAA claims they're very interested in this, and they're working on putting together what do they need to get approval. So these companies, when it's ready, can go get the approval, because the FAA would have to say that the aircraft is safe enough to be able to be approved.
And also from a legal standpoint, there are a lot of airplanes
Yeah.
that different parties have, that you have to be aware of.
Yeah, so flying this thing, you have to know where you can fly and where you can't fly. Yeah. Good question. Any other questions on battery powered aircraft? Yes.
With the first aircraft, even is it fly like?
So the first aircraft, the Air One, the one that was Jetson flight, they used the term fly by intent. That's their company's proprietary steering technology, you know, and takeoff and landing technology. And what they basically mean is you have controls that are more like a video game control of the aircraft, and not the kind of controls that a commercial airline pilot would be using.
You could intend to go left, but.
Well, you just tell the one on the left, and you don't control what device, you know, which surfaces on the plane change, what angle the propeller is going to. The computer produces it all out. Yeah. So the question was, what type of license would you need to fly this? And the answer is the FAA will figure out what type of license. It won't be a car license, and it won't be a commercial airline license, but typically, so I mean, the one that's going to be used for the regional airlines, that probably will be very similar to a commercial airline license. But the one that's like a Jetson's car, that would probably be something that you're gonna need like, several days of training to get approved for a license. But,
The, I think it was during the Jackson's car where he said that pilots were complaining that there's no rudder.
yeah, because the pilot, the commercial airline pilots, they're used to controlling the rudder. Yeah,
Yeah, so the fly by intent is you just tell it.
yeah, you just tell it and the computer figures everything out.
Okay.
All right, let me move on then. Okay, I want to go into defense systems right now. People don't realize how important Israel is to the United States. The United States' most advanced fighter jet aircraft, the F-35, developed by Lockheed Martin, and put it in the club for my former company. And the Israeli has a particular version made just for them called the Adir, which means mighty in Hebrew, and they are the first country, unfortunately, that had to use this plane in combat over Syria. So from using this plane and giving information back to the United States on how the plane handles, what changes need to be made, you know, Israel is really helping the United States have a better aircraft. Well, let's take a look at the
Mr. Hager,
Yeah,
I can't help but take a moment to connect the word Adir.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that word because in the Kedusha, Adir, Adiredu, Adonai, Adir, Shim, like upgrade and also.
Rabbi points out the word Adir shows up in the Bible. How awesome Adir.
They've all said it, they don't know.
They all know. Okay, let's take a look at the Adir.
F-35, but it's completely different on the inside. The F-35I, the Adir, has the capabilities of a stealth, striker, and reconnaissance jet, while also being equipped with electronic warfare capabilities, a highly advanced augmented reality heads-up display, and a system that lets information be instantly transferred to Allied planes in the area. What people don't know is Israel helped develop the F-35. Rumor has it that the Adir has way more capabilities than stock F-35s, and despite being developed in the US, Israel was the first to use the F-35 operationally in Operation House of Cards, allegedly striking Iranian targets in Syria. The operation was one of Israel's biggest air campaigns in decades, and the F-35 Adir played a pivotal role in its success.
Okay. And now we're going to look at, I think most people have heard of Iron Dome, but you know, this whole question of Israel always under attack by missiles and other projectiles, and how does it deal with it? Let's take a look.
Deployed by the attackers, these rockets were capable of reaching the larger coastal city of Ashkelon. By early 2009, major cities such as Ashdod and Beersheba had been hit by Kutashia and Grad rockets, which had a longer range and payload than the weapons used in the initial attacks. In 2012, Jerusalem and Israel's commercial center, Tel Aviv, were targeted with locally made M75 and Iranian Fajr 5 rockets. In July 2014, the northern city of Haifa was targeted for the first time. From 2004 to 2014, these attacks killed 27 Israeli civilians, 5 foreign nationals, 5 IDF soldiers, and at least 11 Palestinians, and injured more than 1,900 people. Although these attacks have wounded and killed many Israeli civilians, their main effect is their creation of widespread psychological trauma and disruption of daily life among the Israeli populace. Some of these rocket attacks have also caused flight cancellations at Ben Gurion Airport. As a reaction to these attacks, Israeli government employed various countermeasures. First, the Israeli government has installed an alarm system called Red Color to warn citizens of impending rocket attacks. The system currently operates in a number of southern Israeli cities within rocket range. A two-tone electronic audio alert is broadcast twice, followed by a recorded female voice intoning the Hebrew words for red color. The entire program is repeated until all rockets have impacted or no further launches are detected. In stereo, it gives residents approximately 15 seconds warning of an incoming rocket. The system was installed in Ashkelon between July 2005 and April 2006, although its effectiveness has been questioned. This state of emergency also required Israel to increase its active air defense capability and deploy it over a wider area. Iron Dome was declared operational and initially deployed on the 27th of March 2011. It is a mobile system developed by Rafael Advanced Defense Systems designed to intercept short-range rockets with a range of fewer than 70 kilometers. The system is composed of a radar, a control center, and interceptor missiles. Very limited information has been made available about the system. The system's radar identifies the rocket launch, extrapolates its flight path, and transfers this information to the control center, which then uses this information to determine the projected impact location. If the projected target justifies an interception, then the interceptor missile is fired. The interceptor missile, named Tamir, is equipped with electro-optic sensors and several steering fins, providing it with high maneuverability. The system got its first taste of combat in 2012 and performed well. The principal drawback of the Iron Dome is its cost. The Katyusha rockets favored by the attackers typically cost about $300 a round. Iron Dome's Tamir missiles cost anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 each. Also, some sources suggest that 2 Tamirs are fired at each incoming projectile to ensure success. And then, a new threat emerged in 2021 in the form of a small kamikaze drone. While the threat from Iranian-made drones has been well known for several years, 2021 brought the threat to the forefront of regional strategic decision-making. The summer of 2021 saw a suicide drone strike against a commercial vessel kill 2 civilians, while a drone attack against American forces in Syria made clear drones are now the weapon of choice for Iranian proxies. And in November 2021, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi movement said it fired 14 drones at several Saudi cities, including at Saudi Aramco facilities in Jeddah. Like other systems used by Israel's enemies, these drones are also much cheaper than the weapons currently being used to counter them. What could be a more innovative solution to counter these weapons instead of using expensive ordnance? Can we create energy weapons? Israel has been working on laser air defense technology for decades, going back to the tactical high-energy laser system developed in the 1990s and early 2000s, although that project was cancelled. But in January 2020, the Defense Ministry announced a breakthrough. The head of Israel's Missile Defense Organization stated in April 2021 that a ground-based laser would be integrated into Iron Dome. The system will be operational by 2023. Iron Beam is the world's first energy-based weapon system that uses a laser. The system is based on 5 years of research and development in solid-state lasers, and is developed by Rafael, funded by the MOD and underwritten by the United States. An Iron Beam battery is mobile and composed of an air defense radar, a command and control, or C2 unit, and 2 high-energy laser systems. It is intended for 2 laser guns to initially produce 100 to 150 kilowatts of power. The system can shoot down incoming UAVs, rockets, and mortars at $3.50 per shot. While the cost of defeating an incoming threat with a laser may be low, the price of acquiring and maintaining this technology is not. Lasers are also impacted by weather conditions and have a low rate of kill. Although this system alone is not sufficient for now, it will be an effective and cheaper solution when integrated into the existing missile system. While there's minimal information available regarding its performance, range, and operational standards, it's expected that the Iron Beam will be deployed on land, sea, and air. So yes, creating energy weapons is finally within our reach. Star Trek-grade phasers, however, might take a little while.
For some reason, the end of the video got cut off because it showed a Star Trek phaser. But anyway, pretty amazing. And it's again another example of the United States sending military aid to Israel. Then the technology comes back to the United States, making our military stronger. So, any questions about military technology? All right, I'm going to move on to medical technology, and we're going to look at quite a few different.
That Seva, I don't actually have it on mine. I downloaded to the red color.
Oh, the red color, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So I have it on my side. I always get a notification when there's something going over because there's constantly, even today, they just not every missile makes the news, but there's constantly missiles coming over.
Yeah. The rabbi points out there's missiles coming over all the time, and he downloaded the red color app, so he gets notifications as well. But you don't have to do anything when you get the notification.
Right.
If you live in Surat, which is right on the border, you should wear sneakers all the time.
And in fact, there are schools that have whole classes in bomb shelters, specifically so that they don't have to.
Yeah, in Surat, sounds like it's mixed out here. School classes and bomb shelters. Okay, so let's look at some technology, and some of these really not my stuff. These are all things that are either available or going to be available in the next couple of years. First one, Pulsing one.
Expectant mothers often worry if they don't feel fetal movement as often as they expect to. They are also prone to anxiety over their baby's development. According to statistics, there are around 210 million pregnancies every year across the world, 6.7 million in the U.S. alone. Polson Moore has developed a mobile ultrasound scanner, which enables the mother to see the fetus whenever she feels the need. The system is comprised of a polymeric cradle with an ultrasound scanning element embedded in the bottom. Insertion of the mobile device automatically starts the scanning. Rest the cradle on the mother's abdomen and you instantly receive a clear, sharp image of the fetus. The data is immediately sent to a cloud for deep analysis, making it available for real-time inspection by the woman's obstetrician. Besides obstetrics, the Pulsamore platform enables more scanning applications for cardiology, orthopedics, and more. The Pulsamore ultrasound scanner has a channel allowing patient-doctor communication and the capacity to monitor vital signs or disease symptoms. It requires only 3 minutes of training for an uneducated user to operate it. Pulsamore, a new era in digital health.
So there are other companies in other countries that are making similar technology. The Israeli one has much more of a systems approach. I think it's the best one, but it's just pretty amazing. Here's one that really knocked my socks off.
These scars show where Donnie nearly lost his leg in a road accident.
In the time of the accident, I didn't thought I will walk normal again. I never thought I'd go back to do sports.
He had major problem of the soft tissue. It was an open fracture, and it didn't heal.
The doctors had to remove almost 4 inches of bone from his leg. It would have ended Donnie's mechanic job and his sporting hobbies. But instead, Dr. Rosen suggested an experimental surgery, one that could regrow Donnie's leg.
After 6 weeks, the bone was connected in both sides.
The experiment had replaced every inch of missing bone with bone grown in a lab, and Donnie, who feared he would never walk again, just completed an Ironman competition. Cases like Donnie's are only a small fraction of the stories of people experiencing bone loss. In most cases, it's due to aging.
The longevity of life creates a huge demand of joint replacement. In the future, and it's not that far, I do believe that we'll overcome the problem of osteoarthritis in the joint by growing our own bone.
And the Israeli company that gave Donnie a new leg wants to meet that demand by creating human tissue in a lab and implanting it in patients.
Nobody believes it's doable. It will sound like science fiction. The ability to grow viable, live tissue outside the body at a reasonable cost will sound like something that wasn't done before.
Dr. Moretsky has spent 10 years making that fiction reality. After proving on patients like Donnie, he is ready to get approval to start clinical trials in the United States. Here's how it works. Doctors take fat cells from the patients in this lab. Stem cells are taken from the fat and grown in the lab until they can be injected into a prepared steel frame in the patient's bone. It's part of a new field of medical science called tissue engineering, growing and manipulating live flesh and bone in laboratory conditions. Even today, labs are learning to make muscles and organs. The biggest limitation is building the nervous system to animate them. While it's still a little more complicated to regrow an entire human leg, the advances in the field of tissue engineering show that it is not that far off either, and that in the future, it could be possible to regrow just about anything. Ariel Levin-Waldman, I-24 News.
Technology. Now, I mentioned that last year we looked at rewalk, which let paraplegics walk. Pretty amazing robotics. The problem was even the head of the company, the founder of the company, was quadriplegic, couldn't use rewalk. So we're going to learn about a new one he invented, working with Technion, which is the MIT of Israel.
For centuries, technology has offered just one option to quadriplegics, persons paralyzed below the neck. This option was the wheelchair. Behind the innovation revolution for paraplegics and quadriplegics is Dr. Amit Gopher, a Technion graduate and entrepreneur. The Up and Ride brings quadriplegics from a sitting position to an upright position, both indoors and outdoors. Recharged overnight, it can negotiate a variety of surfaces, sidewalks, and slopes, responding automatically to obstacles and hazards.
Being able to stand and move is extremely important for people with psychological health, not only the physical one, and the dignity of the person, self-esteem.
After an accident left him quadriplegic, at first, Gopher put his ingenuity into developing the Rewalk, a revolutionary system that enables paraplegics to walk, climb stairs, and even participate in marathons.
When I started with the Rewalk robotics device, I was wondering how come wheelchairs are the only solution for people that are paralyzed. So this was like my great motivation that it will be kind of replacement to wheelchairs.
Just in the developed world, there are about 8 million wheelchair users. If you go to the rest of the world, it's about 70 million. Rewalk returns the functionality of walking, but not every wheelchair user can use the Rewalk. And the Up and Ride is the solution for all those people that cannot use the Rewalk. During the time that we were working on the Rewalk, we were always asked about Amit, can he use it? Can you use it? And we had to say no. Amit was injured in 1997. Just August last year, 2015, he was first time went out from his home in standing position.
The first time I used the device, it was the exhibition in Hager, Düsseldorf, Germany, and it was the Alpha, the first model, and it was it was a very strange feeling, and a good one, extremely good one.
The future goes to smart wheelchairs and robotic wheelchairs. And I think that we are the pioneers in this field.
6 of the 8-member engineering team at Up and Ride are Technion graduates.
Technion has a great impact on the industry. Everywhere you see the Technion alumni. Technion graduate are, I would say, better than others because of the maturity and the way they have what is called thinking outside the box.
Gopher's passion is not just to create successful startups, but to improve quality of life for millions.
What I did in Rework Robotics and what I do now in Up and Ride is helping people that are disabled. The connection actually that they have with the people and their families is so moving, it's so different from anything else. And the way that the families cry on my shoulder and say that I changed their lives. And so I think that no exit can compete that feeling.
Money, it just isn't as important as making these families feel better about things. And there's a note there how the United States Veterans Administration is now using Rewalk for military people and even. So there are other companies in other countries that have systems where wheelchairs can stand up, but the advanced robotics of the Israeli Up and Ride makes it a much better product because it lets them handle more of difficult surfaces and terrain that the Up and Ride can deal with. Okay, let's look at this. This one I found really hard to believe, but boy, they've got data behind it.
Heart failure means that the heart isn't pumping as well as it should be. Congestive heart failure is a type of heart failure that requires seeking timely medical attention. CHF is a growing concern for many people in the world today. Management of CHF is very difficult, and to make matters worse, each patient is different and may have to manage the disease differently. At Cordio Medical, we have created a groundbreaking solution for monitoring CHF through free speech into a simple smartphone app. Using only patient speech sampled via mobile device, the Cordio Hero can quickly and easily sense fluid accumulation related to CHF and alert healthcare professionals in real time. All you have to do is follow the simple instructions on your screen and talk.
Emma brought a nice cup of tea.
The Hero can help with the early detection of a potentially serious change in patient condition and help avoid the need for frequent hospitalization, giving patients the upper hand and giving you peace of mind. Step 1. Your voice is captured by the app-based digital assistants and sent directly to your physician for analysis. Step 2. A real-time speech analysis workflow detects early buildup of fluids in your lungs before the appearance of clinical symptoms.
We have an alert from Mr. Smith. Let's take a look.
Step 3. Notices are generated once a predefined threshold is crossed.
Mr. Smith, how are you feeling today? I received a notice from Hero.
Thank you for calling so quickly, Doctor. I've been feeling a little under the weather.
I think it's time to adjust your medication.
I'll pick up my prescription right away. Thank you so much.
Give yourself, your family, and loved ones the peace of mind knowing that you can quickly and effectively detect certain CHF-related issues at your fingertips. Feel safe with your Hero by your side.
They're pretty amazing. And this next one, this is my favorite. This one really.
Every year, over 18 million people worldwide are diagnosed with cancer. While current adaptive cell therapy treatments have proven successful, they require a labor-intensive, multi-station production line, where patient cells undergo a long, complex, and highly expensive process. Consequently, these treatments can only be provided to a minor fraction of the patients. ADVA X3 is the world's first and only single-use, fully controlled, end-to-end autologous cell manufacturing system. Completely automated, highly cost-efficient, and CFR 21 Part 11 compliant, Adva X3 brings hope to millions by enabling autologous mass production manufacturing. The Adva X3 is a multi-step system for the processing, engineering, cultivation, and formulation of cells. At the heart of Adva X3 is the cone, a unique high-density chamber for the cell processing in a controlled and continuous manner. The process begins by activating the T cells with beads and antibodies. Then the transgene is introduced into the cells using viruses or other carriers, creating the genetic manipulation. Once transduced, the cells undergo a continuous cultivation and expansion process, propagating them from millions to billions, while continuously feeding as needed. As an open platform, Adva X3 offers simple and flexible parameter and process setting, as well as automatic parameter control according to optimized set points and levels using AI, in order to eliminate errors. Utilizing embedded sensors, Adva X3 provides total control, managing 9 different parameters including pH, oxygen, glucose, lactate, temperature, pressure, glutamine, glutamate, and flow rates. The cells are then washed and formulated. The volume is reduced to achieve the exact cell concentration. The cell treatment process is now complete, and the treated cells are collected in an infusion bag, ready to be infused to the patient. By facilitating cell manufacture at almost any location, while driving dramatic infrastructure, human capital, and cost reductions, Adva X3 makes life-saving therapy accessible to millions of cancer patients today. As a single-use, flexible, user-friendly, CGMP compliant, automated, controlled and closed system, Adva X3 revolutionizes the ability to treat cancer.
Doctor puts it in the machine, and then you come back some number of days later when it's ready, and they infuse it into your arm. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So I expect this thing within the next couple of years to be approved and out in the market. This is great stuff. Anybody have any questions on medical technology? Do I know we got a late start. Do I have time for just the fun stuff? Yes. Okay. So we're gonna look at some unique fruits and then the conical robot.
Kiwi apples, banana berries, pineapple coconuts, the possibilities are endless. With the new mouth-watering innovation, Israeli farms are now able to grow hybrid fruits. Is this even real life?
We've reached the point where we have families of watermelon plums, lemon plums, pomegranate plums, violet apricots, yellow plums, and shark teeth plums, as you can see behind me.
Possible benefits from crossbreeding include resistance to global warming and, of course, unique and never-before-tasted flavors. The scientific and cultural journey that now gives us these combinations has been decades long. For example, Bendor Fruits and Nurseries is based in a community in northern Israel that was founded in the 1880s while the region was under Ottoman control.
We have a large plantation farm on an Israeli scale. We've been developing fruit varieties for 40 years. We also have nurseries of deciduous fruit trees and others for developing and improving fruit varieties.
Bendor produces and exports between 2 and 3 tons of hybrid fruit annually. The family farm has expanded with licensed farms in 33 other countries that are now producing hybrids for other world markets.
We've been exporting fruits for 37 years. We saw that there's potential for the expansion of marketing chains if we develop fruits that are different and unique in their shape and taste, or out of their usual season.
At present, a new major focus has been on helping fruit grow in changing temperatures. Israeli agricultural experts are optimistic that hybridization can produce new species of fruit that can survive droughts and may also not require any pesticides. Ben Dor's first orchards in the fertile Hula Valley near the Sea of Galilee are currently working with new stone fruits, mostly plums. These delicious new fruits were once completely imaginary. Maybe, in the future, even more magical combinations will exist. If you can dream it, then maybe one day you can eat it.
Okay, now we're gonna look at the Hanukkah party effect. Oops. Oops. Okay, I messed up. I need Rabbi to help me. I pressed forward instead of backward. Need to get back into the PowerPoint and start there. Did this one? With more.
Keep.
Let's go to.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של חנוכה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. יפה מאוד, כל הכבוד.
Okay, so any questions about anything from the talk today? Okay, I want to thank everybody for participating.
A couple of comments.
Couple of comments. Okay, I got a little more to say about. Let me take Rabbi's comments first.
One is the mobile company that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Beginning, one of our former guardians who grew up here, came up our here with the confirmation. He needed a letter for the Israeli government vouching that he's really Jewish, so I wrote him a letter a bunch of years ago so he could become a citizen. He works for Mobileye.
Rabbi points out that former congregant works for Mobileye.
And some of you have been hearing Mr. Hager talk about the Jetsons. Anybody know who the Jetsons are? Yeah, anyone not know the Jetsons? It was a cartoon a million years ago. That's kind of like that.
Like the song, yes. Rabbi, the future.
I just wanted to mention of it because when the cartoon was created, it was supposed to take place in the 2060s, 2060. So last year, there was a specific date when supposedly George Jetson, the father of the family, that was his birthday.
Okay.
So the Jetson.
So Rabbi pointed out that in the Jetson story, he was actually, George Jetson was actually born last year.
Right, and then we've been seeing a lot of references to i24news.tv, great source of news and information about Israel, all in English, i24news.tv,
I-24. Yeah, it really is great. It's all English. It's really new. Okay, so if people have Israel topics they'd like to learn about, let us know. You can send an email to adult@britvakim.org, or you can let me know, let Rhonda know, and more programs for the future. March 12th, I'm going to be back, hopefully without any of my own technology problems. I got until March 12th to figure it out. I'm going to talk a very, very different talk about Israel and Palestinians. So one of the things I'm going to talk about is the Palestinians have a nation state. They're a state of Palestine. And who thinks there is a Palestine today? Who thinks there's not? Okay, so it looks like everybody in the audience, almost everybody in the audience said right, that the answer is, it's too complicated for a yes or no answer. And I'm going to talk about why that is. And I'm going to talk about things like when COVID vaccines came out, and Israel was the leader in vaccinating their people with COVID vaccines. What was their responsibility to the Palestinian people? So lots of interesting questions about Israel and Palestinians, March 12th. And once again, thanks to everyone for coming, and go Bird.
So snacks. Thank you, Mr. Hager. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.